Hello crafty friends, Lisa here, your DIY diva, and today we're going to have a really fun single project for this video. So I have this mug that I got from Dollar Tree and I want to make it look like it has milk in it. So I'm going to take some Dixie Belle chalk paint and I'm going to paint that on the inside of the mug. And the reason I'm painting it on the inside is because I'm trying to make it look like a real glass of milk. And by painting it on the inside, then it still has that nice shine to it, just like a real glass of milk would. Next, I'm going to paint a couple of these marshmallows. And sometimes you can find these at the Dollar Tree, but I actually found these on Amazon. So even though they're white, I'm going to give them each a coat of white paint. Have you seen those Marshmallow Buddies? They are so cute. And while a lot of people make them, sometimes they don't really show the whole process. So that's what I want to share with you today. And I'm going to be making two different displays. So I'm using two marshmallows. And once the marshmallows have a coat of paint, I'm going to set them off to dry. And then I'm going to take this air dry clay. Now this is a foam clay. I got it at Hobby Lobby, but I'm also going to put a recipe down below in case you want to do this and you don't have air dry clay. What I'm going to do is make cookies. So I'm just taking pieces of the air dry clay and I'm going to roll it into a ball and then I'm going to flatten it out because I want to make these look like cookies. Now, if you use your fingers and just push them down into it a little bit, it really does give it that texture like a cookie would have. And I wasn't sure how many cookies I would need. So for these projects, I made 12 cookies, but I want them to be chocolate chip cookies. So I'm also going to take some air dry clay and tear off little tiny pieces because these are going to be my chocolate chips. And because these pieces are so small, they dried relatively quickly. So now I have to paint the cookies. So I'm taking the individual chocolate chips and I'm putting them onto a strip of painter's tape so they'll stay in place when I'm painting them. And I'm just using burnt umber acrylic paint. Now for the cookies themselves, I want them to have that golden brown color. So I play around with different acrylic paints to get the color that I wanted it to be, but that was a little bit dark and not quite golden brown. So I came back with some Deco Art salted caramel paint and Folk Art Cafe au lait paint and blended those together. I also added in a little bit of glossy Mod Podge because that's going to give it a little bit more of a glossy finish. It won't be totally glossy, but it will take that flat appearance away from the acrylic paint. After I mixed the colors together, then I just painted all of the cookies. I painted the sides first. And then once I could put the cookie down, then I came back and painted the top. And I'm not sure if you can really tell, but this color combination is definitely very close to what a real cookie would look like. Once the cookies were dry, I had gone ahead and put some of the chocolate chips in place, and I'm just removing them from the backer. And don't these look like real cookies? Now by this time, the paint in the mug had dried, but I want to fill the top. So I've got this piece of floral foam and I'm going to cut it in half just so that it will fit down into the mug. Then I came back with some more white chalk paint and I painted all the way around the edge. Just in case any of that foam would peek through, I want to make sure that it's white and there's no green that would be showing. Then I came back with a little bit more of that white paint just to go around the top edge of the mug a little bit more, just to make sure there isn't going to be anything that's going to show through the mug. And then I put the foam in while it was wet. And I did use a vinyl weeding tool just to push it down a little bit. And once I had the foam in place, then I wanted to make this paint a little bit thicker. So I came back with some modeling paste and added that into my chalk paint. Then I also added a little bit of the puffy paint, and I did find this puffy paint at Dollar Tree, so that was pretty neat. And then I added in a little bit of just plain white acrylic paint. Now what I'm going to do is just paint that all over top of the green foam that's down into the mug. By adding in that modeling paste, it makes it more thick. Then I just had to wait for it to dry. So while that was drying, then I came back to my marshmallows and I'm using a little bit more puffy paint, and this is just in the color brown. I got this at Hobby Lobby, and I'm just putting this right around the top edge of the marshmallows. My goal is to make this look like hot fudge that's dripping down. And in the past I have used hot glue for this, but this paint is a lot more affordable and it has a very nice high gloss finish, and it just looks really nice. And it really does look like hot fudge. Next, I wanted to use this bake shop clay. I got this at Walmart for $1, and I want to make some peppermint, so peppermint sticks that I'm going to use as a straw that's going to fit down into the mug of milk. So first I took a section of the white clay and rolled it and then just kind of smushed it down, so that's going to be the center of my peppermint. Next, I came back with some more of the white clay and rolled it pretty thin because I'm going to have this go around the larger white piece of clay. So now I'm going to do the same thing with the red. I'm going to roll out basically a couple of ropes of this red clay that are similar in size to the smaller ropes of the white clay. And I'm usually able to find this clay at Walmart, which I'm really impressed with. This stuff is so much fun to work with. I think it's actually a little bit easier than the Sculpey clay, and the Bake Shop clay is made by Sculpey, but it's a lot cheaper at $1 a package. So now that I have the red clay rolled into the ropes, I'm going to cut it down so that it's matching the white clay. Now what I'm going to do is alternate the white and the red, the smaller ropes, and I'm going to put that all the way around the white larger piece of clay. And I'm just alternating the white and the red all the way around that larger piece. And once I have all of the pieces in place, then I'm just going to roll it so that they're all joined together. And this is one way that you can make fake peppermint candies. Now I have a peppermint that I can use in my creation. So now I'm going to take that clay and I'm going to just continue to roll it out with my hand. That's going to make the red and the white clay join together a little bit more. And it doesn't matter if it's exactly perfect, because what I'm going to do next is I'm going to twist the clay. And can you see how this looks just like a peppermint stick? And the more you twist the clay, the longer it gets. And by twisting it, that's what's going to give it that peppermint look. And I can continue to twist it and roll it, and then I can have an even longer piece of peppermint. Next, I'll come back with an X-Acto knife and cut the peppermint rope into strips. And you can see I've got some candy canes that I made, but my main goal was to make a peppermint stick or peppermint twist that I can use as a straw in the milk. Now I had the lid of a container that I got from Dollar Tree, and I was hoping that I would be able to just paint it with some red acrylic paint, And this is going to be the plate that my cookies and my marshmallow and the mug of milk is going to sit on. So I painted the inside of the lid as well as all the way around the top edge. The bottom isn't going to show, so I didn't worry about painting that. But if you want perfection, go ahead and paint it. Now this is what it looked like when it dried, and it wasn't quite the color I wanted, so I got this majestic red Rust-Oleum spray paint, and I just did another coat of that over top of what I had already painted. That is more what I was thinking it would look like. Now I also found this round plate at Hobby Lobby, and I wanted to see what this would look like. So I did go ahead and use the spray paint on that plate as well. Next I use my M1 Ultra to cut out some vinyl so I can put it on the mug. Now it's really hard to see, but it does say Milk for Santa. After I was done with that, I came back into my craft room, and now I'm going to put everything together. So for the little marshmallows, I'm going to draw a face on, and I'm just using a black acrylic paint marker to draw a little face. For me, it's easier if I just draw their eyes closed, and then I don't have to worry about adding the eyes. So I did that, and then I added a mouth. Next, I came back with these little tiny fake sprinkles, and I just took the peppermint ones and I just used a little bit of glue to attach them to the sides, right on either side of the marshmallow's mouth. And while the marshmallows were drying, I came back with the vinyl and I attached that to the front of the mug. And I just wrote out the words Milk for Santa, then cut it out with the vinyl. Then I secured the vinyl to the front of the mug and then removed the transfer tape. This is another reason why it's good to paint the inside of the mug and not the outside, because I don't want to end up peeling off any of that paint when I'm removing the transfer tape. So now I'm going to start assembling my marshmallows. So I'm going to take the cookies that have the chocolate chips and I'm going to use a little bit of hot glue and I'm going to secure that to the top of the marshmallows. Next, I'm going to come back with some more hot glue and put it on the bottom of my mug, and I'm going to secure that in place on the tray that I made. Then I'm going to take some of the cookies that don't have chocolate chips on them, and I'm going to glue them down to the bottom of the tray. And if you're doing this project and you want more chocolate chips on your cookies, that's fine. You can do whatever you want, but I knew most of these cookies weren't going to really be showing. That was why I didn't do chocolate chips on all of them, because it is a little time consuming to make all of those tiny chocolate chips. Then I decided where I wanted the marshmallow to be placed, and I want it to be placed next to the milk. And this is another reason why I have so many of these cookies, is because the marshmallow is going to be glued to the top of the cookies. So it looks like a marshmallow on a plate of cookies with a mug of milk for Santa. And I did forget to tell you that I did bake my clay, so 275 degrees for 30 minutes, and then I let it cool down before applying it with some hot glue to the top of my mug. And I wanted to be a little bit extra, so I did do another peppermint straw. I also made a bow that I can attach to my mug. And I thought it would look nice to put it on the back right at the handle. So I used a little bit of hot glue to secure that in place. So far, this is what this project looks like. I thought it would look nice with some peppermints sprinkled throughout the cookies, so I just took some peppermints. I believe I found these at Hobby Lobby. And I glued them in place along with some smaller peppermints. Just gluing them in random places around the bottom of the tray. And I did want to add a little bit of whipped cream to the top of my marshmallow, so I came back with some Fast and Final spackle. And I mixed in a little bit of that white puffy paint. And after I blended it together, I put it into a pastry bag. And I think you'll notice I didn't use one of the little tips on the end because I wanted to show you don't necessarily have to have that. I'm just going to cut the very bottom so that the frosting bag is pretty much a very fine tip. And then I'm just going to apply some of my frosting to the cookie that's on top of my marshmallow. And then I came back with some more of those fake sprinkles and put that onto my whipped cream. And then I made another bow to attach to the marshmallow. And there's my milk for Santa and cookies with a marshmallow. But I thought it might look nice with a little bit of hot fudge on the plate as well. So I came back with the brown puffy paint and just added little accents of the paint so that it looks like hot fudge is dripping down the sides of the tray. And because I had that small plate that I got from Hobby Lobby, I did have enough items that I had made that I could make another tray with cookies and the marshmallow and some milk, and this one has a Christmas tree. So what do you think? Even though there are a lot of steps involved in this project, I think it was totally worth it. I love how these turned out. They are so cute. And I think they'd make a great addition for your Christmas decorating. Super easy to make. Most of the things came from Dollar Tree and I think they look fabulous. Well, I hope you had fun crafting with me today. If you love this idea, be sure to subscribe to my channel so you don't miss my next creation. Remember, crafting isn't about how much money you spend. It's about the love and creativity that you put into each project. Until next time, stay crafty and keep creating.